What I did was just show you what he does. So he obviously is an advocate for women. He has probably employed more women than any other director in front of and behind the camera collectively. I mean, has anybody even thought about that? Right? And his experience growing up with blaxploitation films and his knowledge of film and what he brings and what he gets, or stealing, all those things. I was like, all right, let's address all that. So I don't think I hit anything really hard. I just showed it to you. And you can make your own decision with that. But I think Quentin, it lives through his films, and he's very honest, you know. And I think Michael can speak deeper to it.
I mean, the first thing I thought of when you asked me that was that, you know, being an actor, I get criticized too, sure, for this or that, but, you know, sometimes I think a critic thinks that just because they asked a question, that question is a valid question and has to be answered because they asked it, just for that reason. And I think that's really terribly unfair. I think it's actually kind of ridiculous because Quentin's answered those questions so many times that you wonder why the question is still being asked, because it's been answered, you know. His violence is incredibly different from anybody else who ever made violence. But that's what makes him unique, because his violence isn't just for violence sake. And a lot of violence is just for that, but his is not like that. As far as women is concerned, I think he's an incredible advocate of women and the female being on Earth. I mean, what would none of us would even be here if it wasn't for women, let's face it. And, you know, he loves women, I'm pretty sure of that. And so do I. And so I have to defend it by saying that it's a kind of a silly question. I think he's treated women very well. I mean, my gosh, you look at Uma Thurman and Kill Bill, I mean, what a ridiculous question. You know, it's one of the strongest female characters I think I've ever seen in a movie in my whole life. Earlier we were talking about how long things take. I remember shooting Kill Bill, and he came to my trailer one day and he said, Michael, he goes, can you believe this? And I just had this conversation with the Weinsteins, and you know, they think the movie's gonna be too long and I'm gonna have to cut it in 2 parts. He goes, isn't that ridiculous? And it ended up being cut to 2 parts because there was so much there to be had. Nobody wanted to try to cut it down into 1 picture. It would have been terrible to lose so many of those wonderful things in that movie. It had to be long. It had to be volume 1 and 2. But I think it suffered from that a little bit because people got confused because there was no ending to part 1. And then what happened? And it was a couple of months before the volume 2 came out. You put those 2 together and you look back at it now, it's an incredible, incredible film. I think Uma should have gotten an Academy Award for it. Why didn't she? You know, let's ask the critics why that happened. You know what I mean?